Hello students, today we will learn about the necessity of time-based signal in CRO. The necessity of time-based signal in CRO, and second, the working of time-based generator. Time-based generator is also called as sweep generator or sawtooth oscillator, or also called as a relaxation oscillator. Okay, so first we will study why time-based signal is necessary uh, in CRO. Why time-based signal is necessary in CRO? So we know that the CRO usually displays the vertical input signal waveform on its CRT screen. The input signal which is given from signal generator is always applied to the vertical input of the vertical amplifier. Okay, and this vertical input signal is obtained on, or we can observe this vertical input signal, for example sinusoidal or sine wave signal or triangular wave or square wave. So this signal can be visualized, or we can observe this signal as in its original form on the screen of CRO. So to produce such a signal on the CRT screen, the time-based signal is necessary, and this time-based signal is given to the horizontal deflection plates in CRT. So to produce this vertical input signal waveform on the CRT screen, deflection voltages are horizontal deflection plates, horizontal deflection voltages are necessary. Horizontal deflection voltages are necessary, and this horizontal deflection voltages sweeps the CRT spot. It sweeps the CRT spot in horizontally. This horizontal deflection voltages sweep the CRT spot across the screen. Across the screen means in horizontal direction from left to right with constant velocity, and then the spot then returns suddenly to its original position, or to its starting position. Okay. Then this sweep voltage, that is horizontal deflection voltage, it is also called as sweep voltage. So this sweep voltage is also called as time-based signal. Okay, and this is produced by this time-based generator. This time-based signal is produced by this time-based generator. And if the time-based signal is absent, okay, or this time-based signal is also called as X input signal. If it is not there, or if it is absent, then we can see only a vertical line on the CRT screen due to vertical deflection plates, because this vertical deflection voltages moves the electron beam in vertical direction. Therefore the spot also moves with very fast, and we can only see the vertical line due to persistence persistence vision of eye. We cannot see the movement of the spot. We only see the vertical line. We only see the vertical line on the CRT screen, because the vertical deflection plates moves the spot very fast in vertical direction. That is, the electron beam is moved, and therefore due to this electron beam we can see the spot on the screen, and this spot moves very fast in vertical direction, and therefore only we can see the vertical line on the CRT screen, because due to vertical deflection voltages applied to the vertical deflection plates. Okay, only we can see the vertical line or spot on the screen. Okay, and this time-based signal arises at a linear rate. or exponentially, a linear rate from some minimum value to the maximum value, and then and then it returns to its original position. So this is called as a retrace period, and this is trace period. So in this trace period, during this trace period, the spot moves in horizontal direction and from left to right, and during this retrace period, the spot returns to its starting position on the screen. Okay, so this is a retrace period and this is a trace period. Okay, now we will study the working of this time-based generator. So in time-based generator circuit, unijunction transistor is used. This is an unijunction transistor. This is a unijunction transistor. This transistor has only one PN junction. This transistor has only one PN junction and two bases, base 1 and base 2, and emitter. So it is also called as double base diode. Now it has two bases, base 1, base 2, and emitter. So since this transistor has three terminals, so it is called as a transistor. But this transistor has only one PN junction. Uni means one, only one PN junction. Okay. So how this circuit works? So when power is applied to the circuit, or when voltage is applied to this circuit, then this capacitor C starts charging through resistance R. The capacitor C starts charging through its series resistance R, and during the charging period of this capacitor, voltage across this capacitor rises exponentially. The voltage across the capacitor rises in exponential manner, and when it reaches to the peak point voltage or to its maximum voltage, then the emitter to base 1, this PN junction, is forward bias, and since this emitter base 1 junction is forward bias, its resistance becomes low. This resistance is called as RB1. So this RB1 resistance decreases, and since this emitter to base 1 junction is forward bias, and since the RB1 resistance decreases, then it provides low resistance path for this capacitor. So this capacitor then rapidly discharges through this unijunction transistor or through emitter base 1 junction. Okay, so if emitter voltage is not applied, if emitter voltage is not applied, or if this emitter voltage is 0, then this unijunction transistor is in cutoff state. It remains off, and since it remains off, then voltage, the applied voltage divides across RB1 and RB2. So how to calculate voltage across RB1? So by using voltage divider formula, voltage across RB1, say V1. So V1 is equal to RB1 divided by RB1 plus RB2. Okay, RB1 divided by, and this ratio RB1 divided by voltage across RB1 according to voltage divider formula, voltage across RB1 is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2 into VBB. Okay, RB1 divided by RB1 plus RB2 into VBB. It is the voltage across RB1. Voltage across RB1 is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2 into VBB. This ratio RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2, it is called as intrinsic standoff ratio. That is eta. So voltage across RB1 is equal to eta into VBB. Okay. So the emitter voltage V is equal to eta VBB plus 0.6 volt. This 0.6 volt means voltage across emitter and base 1. It is a forward voltage of any silicon diode. Okay, so this input voltage should be greater than this factor eta VBB. Okay, then only the emitter base 1 junction is forward bias. So whenever the input voltage VE is less than eta VBB, the UJT remains off. It remains cut off. But when the emitter voltage VE exceeds or increases or greater than this eta VBB, then UJT is turned on, and this capacitor, the emitter to base 1 junction is forward bias. So here this UJT acts as a switch because this capacitor discharges through emitter and base 1. So this UJT acts as a switch, and to switch on this UJT, condition is that the emitter voltage VE should be greater than eta VBB. Whenever this input voltage VE is less than eta VBB, the UJT remains off, and when it exceeds or it increases above eta VBB, when emitter voltage is above eta VBB, then the emitter base 1 junction is forward bias, and this capacitor gets low resistance path, and then it discharges through emitter base 1 junction of UJT. Okay, so first of all, when the VBB is applied, then capacitor C charges through its series resistance R. Now during this charging period of capacitor, voltage across it increases exponentially, and when this voltage across the capacitor reaches to peak point voltage Vp, this Vp is equal to eta VBB plus 0.7. So when this voltage reaches to peak point voltage, then emitter to base 1 junction is forward bias, and this UJT provides low resistance path for this capacitor. Then capacitor discharges through emitter and base 1 junction, and then the voltage across the capacitor falls down. Then again, when the voltage across the capacitor falls down, then again this capacitor C starts charging exponentially. So in this way, a sawtooth waveform is produced across the capacitor, and this sawtooth voltage or sweep voltage, it is necessary for the as a horizontal deflection voltage, necessary for the horizontal time-based signal. It is necessary for the as a horizontal deflection voltage, Okay, so we will stop here.